Hi everyone, Scruffany Buff Tano here, the internet's busiest music nerd, and it's time for a review of the new Tropical Fuckstorm album, Deep States. Yep, it's a brand new LP from Australian art punk and noise rock outfit, Tropical Fuckstorm. I've been covering their work ever since Gareth Lydiard and Fiona Kitchen separated off from the legendary Drones to start this band with Erica Dunn and Lauren Hamill, and it's been a wild, chaotic, and apocalyptic ride so far. Few bands of the modern era have captured that tangled, ugly, end times energy in the way that Tropical Fuckstorm has. And now that shit is worse than ever, that would make, I think, this band's sound more relevant than it's ever been. But strangely enough, Tropical Fuckstorm's music this time around on Deep States didn't really have the instant impact for me that it's had thus far. Maybe it's me, but since this record dropped in August, I've just found it to be kind of a tough nut to crack. Even if a few of the tracks here sounded like they could have easily been featured on the band's previous records. So yes, I've been sitting with Deep States for a while, figuring out if I like it or I dislike it. For one, I think Deep States has the weakest production of all of Tropical Fuckstorm's records so far, though it does seem like there's a lot of intent and purpose behind the way this album sounds, though. The way the group chooses certain instruments in the mix to be compressed to the point where they are distorted, crackly, which kind of works in the case of the more wiry and cathartic tracks on the record like the opener or the lyrically ingenious G.A.F.F. or Give a Fuck Fatigue, a track about being beaten down by the overload of negative and disastrous information as a result of the internet, news media, social media. The harsh and burnt out aesthetics of this record somehow enhances the closing track as well, which is essentially just this synth instrumental, these desolate passages of harmonies that sound a little bit like something Mike Dean might do for a Kanye record. Overall, I think it's a perfect finish to a project that is this grim. But by that same token, there are just as many tracks on this thing that these production choices handily ruin. The vocal layers on Blue Beam Baby being as distorted as they are just makes them obnoxiously grating. All the compression and the distortion suffocates the grim crescendo at the finish of Suburbiopia, which kind of needed to go off without a hitch given just how tedious the first leg of that song is. This mixed bag of production and songwriting continues into the second half of the LP too. BUMMA Sanger, for example, is an apt number about the restless and panicked feelings of the pandemic and the lockdowns. Gareth sings out frantically on this track about feeling like he can't relax, like he's stuck inside. Meanwhile, this is contrasted with these blaring passages of vocal harmonies and wailing leads that feel like this sense of crushing dread. Meanwhile, I'm kind of perplexed by the song The Donkey. This one doesn't feel so much like a proper song as much as it comes off like a live to tape experiment gone wrong, especially with those falsetto vocals. And I get that looseness and cacophony is sort of the name of the game for Tropical Fuckstorm, but there just doesn't seem to be a strong song or groove or riff for all of this chaos to sort of orbit around here, though the whole thing does come to a very cathartic finish. The instrumental on Reporting of a Failed Campaign fell a little flat for me as well, but I do have to admit this is one of the band's most lyrically clever songs ever. It's a story song with several different corrupt characters that have different backgrounds and trajectories eventually meeting at some point at a very bloody end, and I'm not going to spoil the whole thing, but if you pay attention to the narrative here, you're gonna hang on every word. Then Legal Ghost is easily one of the band's most haunting songs ever, and that's not just because, Ghost is in the title. But there is something genuinely powerful about the refrains on this track, with Gareth exploring these feelings of loneliness and loss through the idea of being turned into a ghost, something unlovable, unknowable, untouchable, to where even if you are with someone, you're still, in a sense, alone. The tragedy and lyrics and the gloominess of this track, there's almost a classic Bad Seeds vibe to it in a way as well. The screaming and yelping guitars that bury the track at the very end do come off a bit strong, though, but at this point, at the very end of the record, that's just one of many weird production choices and blemishes that I'm just not really all that into. The production on this this one is just more grating, purposefully so this time around, and in my opinion, it's not necessarily for the better. So overall, I found Deep States to be kind of a mixed bag, but in my opinion, even a so-so Tropical Fuckstorm record is better than a lot of stuff that's out there right now. Not to mention that even in 2021, the band unflinchingly stares into the void of despair and manages to pull inspiration out. I'm feeling a strong 6 to a light 7 on this one, Tran. Zishin, have you given this album a listen? Did you love it? Did you hate it? What would you rate it? You're the best, you're the best. What should I review next? Hit the like if you like, please subscribe, and please don't cry. Hit the bell as well. Over here next to my head, it's another video you can check out. Hit that up or the link to subscribe to the channel. Anthony Fantano, Tropical Fuckstorm, forever.